I opened up Twitter to find that Joel Osteen was trending. I thought, interesting. I wonder why.
Interesting.
Let's take a look at some of the tweets that explain why Osteen is trending, ask some relevant questions concerning these tweets, and then conclude with why Joel Osteen is really trending. So make sure you stay until the end to hear why all of this matters. Lindy Lee tweeted, "Forgiven PPP loans, Marjorie Taylor Greene, $183,504. Boebert, $233,305. Catholic Church, $3.5 billion. Joel Osteen, $4.4 million. Tom Brady, $960,855. GOP should slink away in shame for attacking Biden for forgiving $10,000 of student debt. But they won't because they have no shame." And similarly, countless others added their thoughts. In response to a tweet from Nick Adams that said, "Your body, your choice. Your student loan, your payment." Trump for Fed prison tweeted, "Your PPP loan, America's debt. Forgiven PPP loans." Marjorie Taylor Greene, $183,504. Lauren Boebert, $233,305. Catholic Church, $3.5 billion. Joel Osteen, $4.4 million. Tom Brady, $960,855. GOP should stop attacking Biden for forgiving $10,000 of student debt. And in response to a tweet from Dash Dobrovsky that said Joel Osteen's megachurch received $4.4 million in PPP loans, and his church pays $0 in taxes. Joel Osteen gladly takes handouts from the government, but MAGA stays silent about that. Also, a plumber found $600,000 in cash stashed in the bathroom walls of Osteen's megachurch in Houston. Cowgirl tweeted, "Joel Osteen receiving our tax dollars is outrageous. Churches don't pay taxes, so how can they collect? Because of COVID, his grifting from the flock slowed down, so taxpayers have to make up the difference. I am mad as hell. Hashtag tax the churches." Now, it should be absolutely obvious to anyone who knows anything about this channel that I'm no fan of Joel Osteen. Osteen is a blatant false teacher who doesn't just not teach people about their sin and need to be saved from God's wrath.
Do you feel like you're cheating people by not telling them about the hell part? The repentance part?
No, I really don't.
But actively teaches people about their goodness and natural human potential.
One thing I can tell you is 99.9% of people are not bad people. They may make poor choices, but deep down, they've got a good heart.
At the same time, I do have some questions about these recent attacks on Osteen. First, regarding Lindy Lee's tweet, 3 questions. Question number 1, Lindy, why are you conflating 2 very different issues? The PPP, or Paycheck Protection Program, was, in theory, designed to provide recompensation for businesses that were forced to shut down because of COVID policies. These business owners didn't have a choice in the loss of income they experienced. In contrast, President Joe Biden's recent student loan forgiveness program uses taxpayer money to pay for the student loans of people who chose themselves to take out these loans, and punishes people who responsibly chose to pay off their student loans instead of waiting for the government to step in and help.
By resuming student loan payments at the same time as we provide targeted relief, we're taking an economically responsible course. As a consequence, about $50 billion a year will start coming back into the Treasury because of resumption of debt. Independent experts agree that these actions taken together will provide real benefits for families without meaningful effect on inflation.
Even if it was wrong for rich people like Joel Osteen to receive funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, this really has nothing to do with President Biden's ridiculous student loan forgiveness program.
A $300 billion vote-buying scheme with his student loan forgiveness plan, and yet the administration has not been able to defend this morally and financially catastrophic policy. Well, that is Nonsense, obviously. As Jason Furman, a former economic advisor to Obama, wrote yesterday, he said, pouring roughly $500 billion of gasoline on the inflationary fire that's already burning is reckless. Doing it while going well beyond one campaign promise, $10,000 of student loan relief, and breaking another, all proposals paid for, is even worse.
If you like this video, a subscribe helps spread these videos. In question number 2, I'm noticing that the only people on Lindy's list are Republicans, or at least people who are not Democrats. Did any Democrats receive similar funds from the Paycheck Protection Program? Because if so, then this is just a selective partisan attack on Republicans, not an honest representation of all the facts. Clearly, President Biden's student loan forgiveness program is designed to benefit his own constituency, young people who went to and graduated from college.
Joe Biden announced, because he has to get his college base out to vote in 2022, that he's just going to be giving them money. He's going to be giving them your money, particularly if you paid your debts. If you're a person who actually paid for your college education, if you're like me, where all of your college debt was paid off, and I paid for my law school debt, and I paid for my wife's college debt, and I paid for my wife's medical school debt, you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars into the system, you are a sucker. It is just that simple. And you're even more of a sucker if you never went to college in the first place, because now you get to subsidize all of the people who probably have a higher income trajectory than you, but who did go to college.
So third question, how is what Biden is doing any better than what you are, arguably unjustifiably, accusing Republicans of doing? Second, regarding Trump for Fed prisons tweet, we have a similar question. Isn't there a very clear and obvious difference between people needing to take responsibilities for the decision they themselves make, such as taking out an enormous loan for college, and people losing income for something that is completely outside their control, such as the COVID shutdown policies? Why should taxpayers, who either didn't go to college or have already paid off their student loans, have to pay for the student loans of people who have not yet paid off their student loans? Third, regarding Dabrowski's tweet, 2 questions. Why is quote-unquote MAGA expected to speak out about Joel Osteen's church simply applying for and receiving funds from a government program that countless other organizations also receive funds from? Sure, Osteen and Lakewood probably didn't need the funds, but it remains that, like everyone else, they were losing money from being forcibly shut down. Osteen and Lakewood technically didn't do anything illegal or wrong. And second, what does the stolen $600,000 in the bathroom walls at Lakewood Church have to do with anything? From what I know, that money was stolen, and Osteen really didn't have anything to do with it, nor did anything wrong regarding it. It kind of seems like you're just desperate to justify your own opinion, regardless of the actual facts. There's plenty to criticize Joel Osteen about. The things you brought up in your tweet are not the real problems. Fourth, regarding Cowgirl's tweets, just want to point this out. Churches are not taxed because they are non-profit organizations, which are not taxed. This is simple United States law. Are you just wanting prosperity gospel churches like Joel Osteen's church to be taxed? Or are you wanting all churches to be taxed? Because if it's the latter, then you're not just against Joel Osteen, you're against all of Christianity. Again, there are plenty of reasons to criticize Joel Osteen, but this most recent criticism of Osteen really seems to be just a partisan way to justify President Biden's terrible student loan forgiveness program, which is literally theft.
Sure, the President of the United States does not have the capacity to simply cancel things like student debt. And sure, when you cancel student debt, somebody still has to pay for the student debt. But Joe Biden announced, because he has to get his college base out to vote in 2022, that he's just going to be giving them money. He's going to be giving them your money, particularly if you paid your debts. If you're a person who actually paid for your college education.
Stop using Joel Osteen as a political weapon. If you're going to criticize Osteen, criticize him for the right things.
There's a guy down my way, down in Houston, Smiling Joel. Smiling Joel says sinners don't need to be told they're sinners. They know they're sinners. No, they don't. They don't. They look at the guy on the news who hacked somebody up and they say, that's a sinner, not me.
Joel Osteen says that one thing he can assure us is that 99.9% of people are not bad people. Well, what does the Bible have to say about this?
You need to understand that he is a pagan religionist in every sense. He's a quasi-pantheist. Jesus is a footnote that satisfies his critics and deceives his followers. The idea of his whole thing is that men have the power in themselves to change their lives. In his definitive book, Your Best Life Now, he says, and that ought to be a dead giveaway, since the only way this could be your best life is if you're going to hell.